Hey, 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 welcome to Brains and Baubles Live. I'm your host, Davina Dandridge, and I am here to bring to light the beauty and the power of emotional intelligence. My job here is to show women how to change the emotions that they have that are causing them stress, that are making them irritable, that are making them hopeless in some type of ways, not taking care of themselves, how to take those emotions and change them into the emotions that will allow them to prosper, to deliver, and to have the life that they desire. So, I am an author, I am an emotional empowerment coach, and I am a professor. And my job here is to share all of the benefits that I've learned through using emotional intelligence in my own life. And I mean, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. And as I should, I am always thinking about the next step in progression to making my life the life that I desire, a life full of goodness, wholeness, and good health. And today, my guest is an expert in that arena. She can get you together. And when I tell you, just your physical, but your emotional, the way that you think, the way that you plan for your life, and even if you so desire, she can help you in your business. So I want to introduce to you my guest, Lisa Angel Smith, and she is here.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning. How are you, bright yellow?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a little bit early here, but that's okay.
Oh, you looking good at 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. You know, it's the holiday. I had to try to do something, so I just wouldn't take it as a holiday and stay in bed because that's really what I wanted to do. Lisa, how
Absolutely.
are you?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. Happy to be on with you today. I'm glad we had our preliminary conversation on Friday. So I'm looking forward to this morning.
Absolutely. And I couldn't stop thinking about that conversation because I was really connected to you. Now I know we had worked together on a project together at one point, but we didn't really get a chance to share more than just a couple of times. So I had always followed you on Facebook, as we do, right? And even jumped into some of your lives before. So your subject matter hits right home with me. But just so that you get all of the credit that you do, and we're going to share throughout this talk today some of the wonderful things that you've done to get you to the space where you can share this wonderful information. Would you share with the audience exactly what you do and what you're passionate about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Lisa Smith, plant-based health and business coach. So as a health coach, I specialize in helping individuals who are battling chronic lifestyle disease take a whole food plant-based approach to combating them. And lifestyle disease is things like being overweight or obese, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, kidney failure, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, dementia, all of these things
Yeah.
that are, precursors to premature death for many of us in this country. And then as a plant-based business coach, I help plant-based vegans package their lifestyle and their passion into a thriving, specialized health coaching business. So that is basically the summation of what I do every day, and I love it.
And you know what? What you're doing is touching a lot of people's lives. I mean, you think about, you know, I'm from Detroit, and I have worked on a project as well with food about food deserts and diabetes and just the access to not only the food but the information about how their lives can be transformed from where they are now. And that's kind of where I think we mesh because I'm always talking about how to be self-aware and know when there's always opportunities for improvement and that never stops. Like you don't get to a plateau where you never need to look and see what it is that you could do better or you could contribute more. And while I'm talking about using emotions to make that transformation and the idea of using some concepts that help someone just really start thinking differently about what it is that they actually want, you have a more direct plan that helps them to take action in their physical body as well as their mental. Can you give kind of like an overview of what your process, if you, however you want to share it, is?
Mhm. Yeah, I think you're so right, Davina. Like I believe my step, which is with nutrition and physical health, is the precursor to your step, which is really mastering emotional intelligence, right? To elevate to
Yeah.
that higher level of consciousness. And so, what most people don't really understand or conceptualize about food is how powerful it is in helping you to connect better with your emotions, with who you are as a person, with mental
Mm,
clarity, with being able to think clearly enough to make the best decision, right? To make the best
yeah.
next decision. And so um I don't think you can even talk about gaining EQ, emotional intelligence, without talking about what we put in our body. And so I
Absolutely.
help people to eat right so that they can have the mental clarity, the fortitude, and be more in tune and connected to what they're feeling in order for them to become better decision makers. And so my approach to that is a whole food, plant-based vegan approach, right? So
Okay.
I am a whole food, plant-based vegan. I don't eat any animal products. But on top of that, I don't eat any refined sugar. I stay away from the ultra processed food, even if it's vegan. Because for me, going vegan many years ago, the very first thing I noticed was actually how my mind worked,
Yeah.
and just the speed of my neurological functioning and my ability to really process emotions and feel feelings in a healthy way. All
Hmm.
of that came with changing my diet.
And Lisa, I often think about like if I had the perfect diet, but I always revert back to I need something that I want. And I know that's part of the mental transformation, even when thinking about the foods and what we put into our bodies. It all the time, it has to do with how we're thinking. And I always like to link our emotions to how we're thinking, because if our emotions are all over the place, then we can't sit still and really have the space to consider many options. And the same goes for if we're not feeling well, or if we have, uh, you know, this whole idea of like, well, cancer ran in my family, so I know I'm going to get it, or, there's nothing I could do about it. I think that it all is intertwined, just like you said. The thing that I always think about is how do you get someone, and I know it's everyone is different. How do you get someone to the point where they can start considering putting down some of the things that they've used all of their life as a crutch, or that they've
Mhm.
enjoyed and they just don't want to give it up? Um,
Mhm.
and what is the transformation like? Because you haven't always been vegan, and you shared with me how your journey started.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, so your question is, how do we get somebody to the point where they're willing to do the work? Is that essentially the question?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I
Yeah.
mean, because veganism is a big commitment to some, and it's a
Yeah.
really different mind frame. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. How
Yeah.
does one begin to think that way?
Well, usually people's journey to really adopting this lifestyle fully, started kind of like a flower or a plant, right? There were
Okay.
seeds that were planted along the way, and then those seeds were then watered by other people and other resources, and
Mm,
that desire slowly evolved over time, right? So when someone goes from cold turkey, from 0 to 60 to this lifestyle, in those instances, what I've seen, Davina, is it's because of some pressing health issue, meaning the
okay.
body or the mind is extremely compromised, and this lifestyle has been recommended to them by somebody they trust as an
Hmm.
urgent need in order to eradicate a pressing health challenge, right? So people who
Okay.
go from 0 to 60, right? That's usually what I see. Like, hey, I just got diagnosed with cancer and
Yeah.
I'm going raw vegan and I'm going to do
Hmm.
everything I can to reduce this tumor size and avoid surgery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then those that typically maybe take their time, one foot in, one foot out, they dibble and dabble, right? That what's slowly happening there is like they have been alerted to the benefits of this lifestyle, but unfortunately, they don't consider the current condition or circumstance that they're in as extreme enough to go all the way
To
just yet or
to
ever.
commit. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
so
can
in
see
those
that.
instances, it's going to take a great coach, or unfortunately a diagnosis to get someone to see, I got to get rid of this sugar today. Like I got to get rid of
Yeah.
this dairy today. I can't wait, right?
Yeah,
So it really just depends on the unique circumstance of the individual, right? But then actually having expert coaches and subject
yeah.
matter experts who are really talking this content consistently to start shifting those people's beliefs.
And then they become accountable to someone. I think
Yeah.
accountability is definitely, because I can say, and I've done this to myself, no matter what, and I have gone periods of time without eating meat, or really focused on what I am consuming. But then there are other times where I'm just like, well, for whatever reason, it's a party. It's my birthday, whatever. And I know that people do this. We get on a kick. And when you were talking about, you either need a diagnosis or a coach, I wholeheartedly agree. I would opt for the coach before the diagnosis, especially if you already have the thought that it is hereditary, or that there could be a possibility that you could get type 2 diabetes. We can prevent that. We have the information and access to people like you who are able to share how to best apply these steps. But Lisa, I want to go back to where you started. You have an interesting journey, and I think that the idea of transformation, as I said, we start with the mind and the emotions. You exemplified that throughout your journey to get where you are now, to become an expert in this area. I think that a lot of people get stuck in what they know and what they have already planned, instead of embracing flexibility and opportunity. And could you just share a bit of your journey? And while you started off at a high level, you still have made transitions that most people wouldn't be willing to make.
Yeah, I started becoming a plant-based vegan many years ago when I was a personal trainer, but I became a personal trainer because I was overweight. And so I started by hiring my own personal trainer back in 2012, and she started
Okay.
me on the journey, which ended up with me losing, over 60 pounds, still eating animal products though.
Wow,
And
60.
it was yeah, yeah. And it wasn't until after I lost weight and decided to pursue a career in health that I
Mm,
really became aware of this whole food plant-based lifestyle. So when I adopted this eating pattern, I was already at a healthy weight. I didn't have a diagnosis. I wasn't on any medications. I was just simply doing it because based on what I was reading and
yeah.
researching, it was saying, hey, this is the best diet for longevity, not just for the pant size you want to be in, but
Hmm.
actually for how long you want to live and how quality you want those years to be.
That quality
And
life. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Hmm.
And so I threw caution to the wind, Davina. It's interesting that losing the weight actually was spearheaded an entire lifestyle dedicated to radical obedience, because losing the weight gave me the courage and the confidence to then make some big, bold decisions, like quitting my day job as a social worker, moving abroad, living in multiple countries abroad on my own,
Yes.
completely, disregarding my educational background and pursuing a career in something that just made me happy. Right. So
Yes.
all of radical obedience started with me getting my health together, so that was no longer a distraction, and my health actually went from being a liability to an asset, which then I was
Ah,
able to leverage into a total new lifestyle. So it's been a beautiful journey.
that radical obedience. It. As soon as you said that, I thought about, as I'm on my own fitness journey. I've lost about 30 pounds. Just here and there. I keep saying, as long as I'm doing something, I'm doing more than I was doing before. So that's just the way I look at it. But the more that I do it, the more that I am committed to the process, especially on mornings where I don't feel like I want to get up and train, or I don't feel like, I want to have a drink, or I want to do something. Those are the times where I put my body under subjection, right? I don't just buy into what my body, the urges want to do. I have to make a conscious decision to be committed to the process and to the outcome that I want to see. And I'm not always successful, but I keep going and going and going. But when in my fitness journey, what I've learned is that if I am consistent with working out early in the morning every day, no matter how much it pains me, then that consistency and that diligence trans is place in other areas in my life. When there are things that I
Mhm.
don't feel like I want to do or that I can do, I have the courage now because I have examples in my mental history of me achieving goals and being consistent. So I just think that the food step is the another step that we really, really, really must consider in order to have overall health, meaning mental, emotional, and physical.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. Like you can't deny it. And I wish we would stop the narrative with like 80-20, like it's 80% diet, 20% exercise, or vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
trying to constantly, put one before the other. They are equal. They are
Mm-hmm.
completely equal. So we
Absolutely.
have to prioritize what we eat. We have to
Mm-hmm.
prioritize how we move, but then we also have to put in perspective that diet and exercise are not the only pillars to optimal health, and you cannot achieve optimal health by only looking at your exercise and dietary regimen. And so I think
Yes.
it's really we talk about the whole person approach,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of us don't consider the things outside of the gym and the kitchen that can be impacting our health. So that's going to be important to note as well.
Yeah, because if you don't handle your emotions, what happens? You fly off the handle. You
Yep.
put yourself in situations where your blood pressure escalates, or you don't treat yourself right. You either eat too much sugar or you don't eat enough food. So there are all things that it's all like a interwoven effect if you don't manage your overall health. And for so long, especially in the African American community, the mental and emotional, especially the emotional, I feel like the emotional part is just coming into the forefront now. But only certain people had the mental addressed because it was something that was thought in our community not to be of value.
Mhm.
Going to see a psychiatrist, when all of it impacts each other, and
Mhm.
your plan and your system and what you've implemented has helped so many people. And I'm sure that you have some fantastic stories or testimonies, if you have any, that you want to share
Mhm.
just about how transformation can benefit someone, but you have to first take the first step, whichever step that
Mhm.
is, whether you need to do it because there's an emergent matter or whether you've just taken the time to want to manage some things in your life where you had been out of control or just hadn't paid attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it, there's a people like to use the word sacrifice, Sabina, and they like to say stuff like they might be approaching a certain age bracket, right? They're moving into their late 40s, 50s, 60s. And
Mm-hmm.
some of the reasons they give for not being optimal from a health standpoint is because they sacrificed for many years for their family, for their career, for other reasons, right?
Yeah.
And I vehemently disagree, because
Yeah, I
I
do
believe
too.
anything that requires you to compromise your health in pursuit of it is not a sacrifice, it's a bad decision.
Yeah.
And we really need to put in perspective, what that is, because in our priority list on a daily basis, if your health is not optimal, physical, mental, or emotional,
Mm-hmm.
everything that you have to do or that you're trying to apply yourself to is not going to be its best version, because you aren't your best version.
That's
And
true.
so until you work to become the best version of you, everything you produce will be less than optimal. And when we understand that, then we can put things in better perspective about how we should be starting our day, what we should be prioritizing, what we should be saying yes and no to, because we understand that these inputs will directly impact our outputs.
And even if you're thinking at a longer level, if all of the sacrifice that you're doing, not taking care of yourself, was to provide for a family, to build for a family, then in the long run, if you don't have great quality of life, someone is
Mm-hmm.
going to have to take care of you. So
Mm-hmm.
your family is either going to pay right now with you maybe not doing as much so you can take care of your health, or they may pay later with not having you around or not having the best version of you around because your health has failed prematurely, like you said, because
That's
you
right.
haven't taken those steps to think in a broader, longer distance about how taking care of your health impacts the people that you love.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So it is a lifestyle. It's not a diet, or it's not
No.
it is a lifestyle because it encompasses the whole person, not just
Hmm.
one aspect of the person. And how long have you been vegan, Lisa?
About 7 years now.
7 years. So that's a
Hmm.
commitment. And I'm
Hmm.
certain that you already said that how you have much more mental clarity. You even in our
Hmm.
phone conversation alluded to the fact that you have faster ideas and better ideas because you don't have that fog from,
That's
whatever
right.
you've consumed, you know.
Yeah.
And what are some of the other, and I know you got some physical benefits because I've seen those. So what is it that you do physically, your workout, to kind of go in tandem with your vegan lifestyle?
Yeah, constantly push myself. So what one of the biggest mistakes, I've seen people do from my career as a personal trainer, but just in my personal life too, when it comes to physical fitness, is they reach a comfort level that almost forces them to plateau because they
Mhm.
are unwilling to
Yeah.
push themselves past that comfort level. So, like, let's say they find something they like, right? Their Zumba
Yeah.
class, their walking, their cycling, whatever it is. They usually do enough to say they did it, but not enough to move the needle. And
Hmm.
so what's happening is they're operating below their capacity, which the average human does, by the way. It can be very challenging for most people to push themselves to their true capacity, right? Without a
Yes.
coach or anyone helping them. And
Hmm.
so what most people will do is they'll just do something to give themselves credit for getting it done, but they're not doing enough to actually see significant results. So if you want your body to change, if you want the weight to come off, if you're trying to gain weight, whatever you're trying to do from a physical
Yeah.
standpoint, you have to be pushing yourself to the point of you should be sore sometimes. You should be out of breath sometimes when you're doing
Oh
that
yeah.
cardio. You should be like, it should be a workout that has varying levels of intensity and not just moderate if you're
Yeah.
in a season where you're actually trying to move something. Now, moderate is cool. Mostly moderate is cool if you're just maintaining. But if
Yes.
you actually like, no, I got more ways to go to see what I want to see. I want to see definition in these arms. I want to see
Yes.
my waist coming out. Then physically, you got to get out here and get it done. I ran a couple miles this morning, because it's back warming up, and I'm like, let me get out here on the pavement. That's different from running on a treadmill,
Yes.
and so
Hmm.
you get different results. And so it's going to be important to invest in whether that be a coach, an app, a community, or somewhere where
Yeah.
you can be pushed past your moderate levels so that you can see physical changes in the body.
And everyone needs something different. And I know I'm a woman that's seasoned, right? And my workout is going to be different from my daughter's workout, who is
Yeah.
about to be 20. So you do need some guidance and structure to, making a plan that's going to work for you and work for you. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
my journey has been gradual. Like I've always done fitness, hit or miss throughout my lifetime. I kickbox, I did whatever. But this is the first time where I am making it a lifestyle, not because I want to lose 20 pounds or not. I really want to, number one, push myself. And number two,
Yeah.
I've set a goal that I can see that's going to benefit me. And then I know that I am doing something for just what we were talking about earlier, that longevity, preserving my quality of life so that I can enjoy, my golden years with my family, still traveling and not being in a position where I don't want to be in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think
Yep.
the getting someone to guide you is definitely something that's worth making an investment in. You know, it's
Mhm.
worth. Look, if you need an emotional coach, I'm your girl. You know what I mean? If you
Mhm.
need a physical coach, here she is. Lisa is here, and if you have to be willing to pay for the program because it is years of expertise, years of
Mhm.
training, and years of testimony and proof that this really works, or why else are we here? You know what I mean? So,
That's right.
I think that I love this conversation. I know I get jazzed up on things, and then that's all that I talk about. And lately, I'm strength training and weight training, trying to get to my goal in October. And I couldn't think of anyone better to have on but you, Lisa, because your body is slamming. I love the way you think, and I love what you've done to share. Is there anything in particular you want to share if people want to connect with you, if they want to know how to take part in your program, or even get trained by you to teach other people?
Yeah. So I'm retired from personal training, so we no longer offer that. However, we specialize in, again, taking a whole food plant-based approach to optimal health. The best way to identify the services that we offer and which one may be best suited for you in this season will be just visiting my website, lisaangelsmith.com. Again, we offer plant-based health coaching, and then I'm also a business coach. And so I'm really helping individuals to package their expertise into a thriving coaching business is what I absolutely love to do. And to hear nuggets and more about that stuff, you can also follow me on social media at Lisa Angel Smith on Facebook and Instagram.
All right. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for taking time out with me today. I really appreciate it. And I enjoyed this talk. And listen, I know the people out there got some information. And if you need more information, she just told you where to get it. Lisa, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me, Davina. I really appreciate it.
Great, great, great. And listen, I'm here every Tuesday, you guys, every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Brains and Baubles Live. I'm here to share the benefits of emotional intelligence to get you where you want to go, to get more command and empower yourself to control your life, control your emotions, control your health, and just be the best version of you. So check me out next time. You can go to my website, davinadandridge.com, for more information. Till next time, bye. See you, Lisa.
Bye.